but the rot ran deep. Cold games in daylight, betrayal and sleep. Under Shannah's smile, the emperor blind, raised by the system that he would unwind. From slave to soldier, then governor grand, commanded the frontiers, held half the land. Half Yugtugrin, half Turkey, but trusted like kin. He fed on the silence, the cracks within. He rose with thunder, claimed heaven's will, but the streets turned red and the wind stood still. The fields grew bones, not rice, not grain, and 10 years passed in fire and pain. The emperor fled as the cities burned. The old world twisted, the heavens turned. A new sun crowned, a dynasty split, but no throne survives a rebel's red. They killed him early, but the fire lived on. His name was Ash, but the war rolled strong. A second capital, a puppet line, each promise a corpse beneath a shrine. The scrolls went quiet, even the stars dimmed, and the people kept dying year after year. They called it a rebellion, but it was extinction by another name. He rose with thunder, claimed heaven's will, but the streets turned red and the wind stood still. The fields grew bones, not rice, not grain, and 10 years passed in fire and pain. In the year 755, Anhishana declared himself emperor. What followed was not just civil war, it was systemic collapse. By 763, over 36 million people had vanished. That was more than 15% of the global population. The Tone dynasty survived in name, but it never stood the same. It remains the deadliest conflict in recorded human history. Not by bombs, not by machines, but by betrayal, famine, and collapse. The mandate of heaven did not fall. It was burned. He rose with thunder, claimed heaven's will, but the streets turned red and the wind stood still. The fields grew bones, not rice, not grain, and 10 years passed in fire and pain. The court watched shadows, the poets stayed mute. The empire's silence was louder than flute. The banners are gone, but the graves remain, and history whispers through blood-soaked plains.